So here we are with our first video of chapter 1. We had already completed with our sixth chapter in the previous video. So this is our first video of chapter 1. It's a bit theoretical kind of a chapter, but it also comes for at least 4 to 5 marks. So we have to study this also. So this is your chapter 1, relations and functions. A bit of it you have already studied in class 11th, which you should remember. So let's move to the next slide. This is a revision of your chapter 11, chapter which was there in class 11th. So this is a screenshot of your second chapter of class 11th where it was explained what was relation. See here what is being shown over here. This is a P set having A, B, C, and this is Q set having Ali, Bhanu, Binoy, Chandra, Divya. The names are there, and they had made an ordered pairs from this P to Q. Yani P cross Q they had made, in which these sets were made: A, Ali, A, Bhanu, A, Binoy, C, Divya, and many other things. All the ordered pairs we can easily make. So since here there were 3 elements and there it is 5, so it will be coming as 3 into 5, 15 pairs. Now this is being told to show you what does a relation mean. See here the relation they had given x comma y such that x is the first letter of the name y. Now what all pairs will be there in this relation? This is only A Ali, B Bhanu, B Binoy, and C Chandra. Out of those 15 ordered pairs, now only 4 ordered pairs are coming in this relation. So the definition of relation comes here. A relation R from a non-empty set A to a non-empty set B is a subset of the Cartesian product A cross B. The subset is derived by describing a relationship between the first element and the second element of the ordered pairs in A cross B. The second element is called the image of the first element. I think you should remember you are in class 12th, but it is of class 11th. So everybody should remember. That is why I am doing a bit of revision out of that. So from here you can easily understand all the pairs of this relation were from that A cross B Cartesian product. Now there is a definition of domain also and range also. The set of all first elements of the ordered pairs in a relation R from a set A to a set B is called the domain A of the relation R. So the first elements means here you can see A, B and C. This combined is known as the domain of relation R. And next definition, the set of all second elements in a relation R from a set A to a set B is called the range of the relation R. The whole set B is called the codomain of the relation R. Note that range is a subset of codomain. You can understand this. So what does the range means? Range means the second element in the relation R. See, the second element is coming as Ali, Bhanu, Binoy and Chandra. But this Divya is not there in that range. But when we talk about this whole elements of Q, this is known as the codomain. That is why it is written here, range is a subset of codomain. Means the range will be coming out of this codomain only. So I think there is a quite bit of revision of your class 11th. So moving further according to your class 12th chapter. So there will be types of relations now. The types of relations here we are going to study the first topic, empty relation and universal relation. Definition 1. A relation R in a set A is called empty relation if no element of A is related to any element of A. That is R is equal to phi is a subset of A cross A. You can understand this. A relation R in a set A is called the empty relation, means no element of A is related to itself. Then this relation is an empty relation. We'll do an example, then you'll be able to understand. First, let's see the definition of this universal relation. A relation R in a set A is called universal relation if each element of A is related to every element of A. Means each and every element of A is related to the other element A. Means that is A cross A. So then it is the universal relation. Means all the terms are related to the terms of the second set. Both the empty set and the universal relation, empty relation and the universal relation are sometimes called trivial relation. You should keep in mind this word trivial relation. They are combinedly, sometimes they are known as trivial relation. Let's do one example so that it will be better to understand. Let A be the set of all students of boys school. Show that the relation R in A given by R, A is sister of B, is the empty relation, and R dash AB, the difference between heights of A and B is less than 3 meters, is the universal relation. So let us understand how it is an empty relation and how it is a universal relation. Since the school is a boys' school, so there will be no girl in the school. When there will be no girl in the school, how can any boy be a sister of anybody? A boy. So no student of the school can be sister of any student of the school. Hence R is equal to 5. Means we cannot find any ordered pair from A to A. So that is why here we know that R is equal to 5. So this is a empty relation. Now see here, showing that R is the empty relation, it is also obvious the difference between heights of any two students of the school, right? Their heights difference has to be less than 3 meters. It's obvious whichever students we take, any pair of students we take, and we consider about the difference of their heights, it will be always less than 3 meters. It's but obvious, it's a very common sense. You can do this. So here we can easily say that this R dash is equal to A cross A is the universal relation. Means each and every element, each and every boy is considered as an element. Means if we take the difference of any two boy, the difference will always be less than 3 meters. Moving to the next topic, this is RST relations. In short form, we call it as RST. R for reflexive, S for symmetric, and T for transitive relations. First, we'll do the definition, then we'll do an example. So first thing we have to understand what does reflexive mean, symmetric, and transitive. A relation R in a set A is called reflexive if AA means it is same element. अपने आप के साथ में जब उसका relation belongs to R होगा, then it is a reflexive relation. Symmetric, if we take any two terms from R, A1, A2, if A1, A2 is belonging to R, then it implies that A2 and A1 also belongs to R. These two conditions should be satisfying for being symmetric. Similarly, for transitive, if A1, A2 is belonging to R and A2, A3 is also belonging to R, this implies that A1, A3 means first term here and the second term of this belongs to R. For all A1, A2, A3 belonging to R. So there's a difference between symmetric and transitive. This is self. This is only a pair A1, A2, then A2, A1. This is three pairs A1, A2, A2, A3. If they are belonging to the relation, then A1, A3 also implies that A1 and A3 also belongs to that relation. So let's see if any relation is satisfying these three conditions, then what it is known. See their equivalence relation. What is written here? A relation R in a set A is said to be an equivalence relation if R is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. If any relation is satisfying these three conditions, then it can be said as an equivalence relation. Sometimes the question comes that show that the relation R is an equivalence relation. It means you have to show reflexive, symmetric, and transitive conditions. Let's see one example over here. Let T be the set of all triangles in a plane with R a relation in T given by R T1, T2, T1 is congruent to T2. The condition that they had kept for being the relation that T1 is congruent to T2. Show that R is an equivalence relation. This is a set of triangles. Just see. First thing for R, then S, and then T. R for reflexive. R is reflexive since every triangle is congruent to itself. First thing I told you already, with self means whether a triangle is congruent to itself. Yes, a triangle is always congruent to itself. So the condition of reflexive is true. Now let's see for symmetric. If T1, T2 is belonging to R, means T1 is congruent to T2. Obviously, T2 will be congruent to T1. So T2, T1 also belongs to R. Hence, the second condition is there. R is symmetric. So now let us see for the third condition, transitive. If T1, T2 is belonging to R and T2, T3 is also belonging to R, implies that T1 is congruent to T2 and T2 is congruent to T3. This implies that T1 is congruent to T3, means T1, T3 belongs to R. Therefore, R is an equivalence relation. So this is the three things we have to prove for being an equivalence relation. That is why I told you it's a bit theoretical kind of chapter. But since it comes in the exam, so we have to do. Let's do few questions of exercise 1.1, which are based on only this concept. The things which we have done till now. See, first question, determine whether each of the following relations are reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. See here, relation R is given 1, 2, 3 till 14, defined as xy, 3x minus y is equal to 0. So first thing, always we have to see what are the pairs which will be satisfying this equation out of 1 to 14. See here, 3x minus 5 means if we put something in the place of x and y, it should come 0. So the first pair, it can be 1, 3, second 2, 6, 3, 9, and 4, 12. Only these four pairs can be there. Let's see for being reflexive. R is not reflexive since 1, 1, 2, 2, 14, 14 does not belong to R. If I keep here 3 into 1 minus 1, it will give us 2, not 0. So it is not reflexive. Second, let's see what symmetric. Since 1, 3 is satisfying to R, let's check for 3, 1. If I am putting here 3, 1, 3, 3 is a 9, minus 1, that will be 8, which is not equal to 0. So it's not symmetric also. Let's see for transitive. 1, 3 is belonging to R and 3, 9 is also belonging to R. So let's check for 1, 9. 1, 9 will be giving us 3 minus 9, that is minus 6, which is not equal to 0. Hence, it is neither reflexive, nor symmetric, nor transitive. Let's see another question. Check whether the relation R defined in the set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as this is reflexive, symmetric, or transitive. See here again, they had given us a limit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and B is A plus 1. Again, here we had found the pairs, what all are satisfying. Then we had set check for 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. If I am putting here 1, so 1 cannot be equal to 2, so they are not at all reflexive. If I check for symmetric, 1 and 2 is belonging to R, but 2 and 1 is not belonging to R. And similarly, we can see for transitive. Let's see this for question number 5. This is check whether the relation R in R defined as R, A comma B, A is less than is equal to B cube is reflexive, symmetric, or transitive. So let us check for this. A is less than is equal to B cube. So if we are putting it here 1 upon 2 comma 1 upon 2 for checking for the reflexive, will this be possible that 1 upon 2 is less than is equal to 1 upon 8? It is not at all reflexive. So it is not satisfying for the first condition, which is reflexive. So this is here 1 upon 2 is always greater than 1 upon 8. So it is not satisfying. Let's check further for symmetric. Let's see, 1 and 2 is satisfying R. This relation means if I put here 1 and this is 2, so 1 is always less than is equal to 8. Now let us check for 2, 1. If I am putting here 2, 2 is less than is equal to 1, which is not true. So it is not symmetric also. And we'll be checking for transitive. Let's take two numbers 3 comma 3 upon 2 and 3 by 2 comma 6 upon 5, which are satisfying these two relations. This relation a less than is equal to b cube. Let us check for 3 comma 6 upon 5. So after checking 3 less than is equal to 6 upon 5 cube, we can see that it is not true. So R is not transitive. So it is neither reflexive nor symmetric nor transitive. We have to do this only in maximum questions. I had put in this PPT many more questions also for your reference, which you can see it, go through these questions, and if any doubt is there, you can ask me on my personal window. Let's do another one more question for this. Show that the relation R defined in the set A of all triangles as R T1, T2, T1 is similar to T2 is equivalence relation. Consider three right triangles T1 with side 3, 4, 5, T2 with side 5, 12, 13 and T3 with side 6, 8, 10. Which triangles among T1, T2 and T3 are related? So they had told us that T1 is similar to T2. This is the relation. So let us check for reflexive. We'll be checking for R is reflexive since every triangle is similar to, if I check for T1, T1 or T2, T2, every triangle is similar to itself. So we can easily say that they are reflexive. Now we'll be checking for symmetry. If T1 is similar to T2, it means that T2 is also similar to T1. So this means it is symmetric also. Let us check for transitive. If T1 is similar to T2 and T2 is similar to T3, it is obvious that T1 will be similar to T3. So the third condition is also satisfying. So we can say that R is an equivalence relation, which is the first part. We have to show that this is an equivalence relation. It is over. So R is an equivalence relation. Further, they are telling us the sides are given of the three triangles. Which triangles among T1, T2, T3 are related? So they had done here, we had done here the ratio of the triangles, which are similar. See here, 3, 6, 4, 8, 5, 10. And here it is 5, 12, 13. You can easily see that the ratio of the first triangle and the third triangle will only be same. So let's see here 3 upon 6, 4 upon 8, 5 upon 10, which is giving us the same ratio as 1 upon 2. So we can easily say that T1 and T3 are the related triangles. Further, I had done one more question for you, but that you will be seeing it on your own because it is just a similar way. And here is our end of the PPT. So you have to finish with exercise 1.1. Have a nice day.